Hello, Dave Monty here with Coast Airbrush TV, and with us again is Mr. Mike Taylor from House of Kolor. Mike?
Dave, good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Yes.
Mike's here today to talk to us about another new product that House of Kolor has come out with called Orion SilverMax, which is in their Shimmer and 2 line. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
I'd love to, Dave. Orion Silver has been a very popular base coat color in our old system. Well, now what we've done is we've enhanced it, and we have now Orion SilverMax, Shimmer and 2 version.
Awesome. You know, a lot of my customers call me up and they're always asking, hey, you know, what's with the silver kind of coverage? And I say, well, it's just kind of a characteristic of that product.
Right.
But now I can tell them with confidence, this thing really, really is a great product and covers well.
It does. It really does.
Well, let's take a look at it and get right into it. What do you say?
I'd love to show you.
Let's do it. Okay, we talked briefly about how well it covers, but what about the differences? What are the technical differences between the original Orion Silver and the new SilverMax?
Oh, there's quite a few differences, to be honest with you, Dave. First of all, the brightness of this stuff is just amazing. The standard Orion Silver is just a basic mica cut, where this is actually cut as a cornflake puck style, and it has a thickness to it. So you actually get a totally different reflection from each angle that you're standing. So it's beautiful. As far as the maximum coverage, it's unbelievable compared to the standard BCO2. Its performance is amazing. You're going to cover this stuff in with 3 coats. You're not going to have to do 4 or 5 coats. This is going to be 3 coats standard. So this stuff is absolutely beautiful.
Well, okay, that's awesome. What about the uses? Now, we've talked about the technical part of it.
Right.
Give us an example of some of the uses that we've used this
Oh, sure, absolutely. I'd love to. All right, first thing I like to talk about is the 2 differences between the BCO2 and the S2 BCO2. We all know as painters that the BCO2 is a beautiful, beautiful metallic, but the coverage was just not there. We always had to cheat and put down a medium size or smaller size metallic down to get the coverage and then go over it with the standard BC a couple of coats because it just didn't have the coverage. Well, guess what? That's over. This standard S2 BCO2 out of the can, it's phenomenal. You mix it at a 2-to-1, you spray 3 coats, you're completely done. So that's one thing. The second thing is the metallic size in the old line is a medium metallic, where this is actually cut as a cornflake puck, so you actually have a dimension to it. You're not looking at a standard metallic that has some bling here and there. You actually get the reflection from everywhere you go. So those are 2 differences in between the 2 there. All right, one of my favorite things about the Orion SilverMax is being able to tint it with your candy concentrate. This is simple. If you're doing a candy job, the worst thing you want to do is spray down a beautiful silver base and then go over it with your candy and model the thing. So what I like to do is I take 10 parts of my SilverMax to 1 part of any of the KK concentrates. Now I have a tinted silver that still shows the suspension of that metallic. It doesn't mud it out. It looks unbelievable. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 10 parts the SilverMax to 1 part any of the KKs. All right, another great thing about the S2 BCO2 is you can actually use this with any of the S2 carrier bases, simply mixing it 1 part S2 BCO2 Orion SilverMax to 1 part of any of the S2 carrier bases. This is now creating a foundation coat. And what's great about this is for like solar golds and zenith golds and stuff that you needed to really put 5, 6 coats on to get maximum coverage, and you're hogging the stuff on. You simply put this down 2 to 3 coats, and now you can mix up any of your standard bases and simply put 2 to 3 coats of that directly over that, and you're not fighting it. You're simply finessing that color on, and you're not hogging on, saving you money and time.
This has got a lot of uses. This is great, Mike. And the other thing that I love about it is the compatibility. The compatibility that you can still use the Orion SilverMax in with the old original House of Kolor base coats. Now that's great, but I wanted you to talk to me about it as a base coat. I want to talk about SilverMax as a base coat for candies.
Oh, you got it, Dave. We got to spray this stuff. Let's go over there and take a peek.
Let's go take a look and let's do it.
All right. All right, now that we've told you about all the uses and benefits of the Orion SilverMax, let's go ahead and mix some of this stuff up and do some scenario spraying. So right now we're just going to mix up the SilverMax on its own, and we kind of set up a situation of spraying over our KD3000 gray and a section of white to show you the maximum coverage you can get over white. So we're going to go ahead and stir this up. We're going to mix it 2 parts our paint to 1 part our reducer. Now, one important thing about the Orion SilverMax, it's not like the standard BCO2. You want to use a slower reducer with this. If you stick to using your medium reducer, slow it down and use a slower reducer, possibly the RU312, or in the compliant areas, the RU301. So it's very important that you use that because it will dry a little too fast for you and you'll start to get some of that grain. So we want to make sure that we do that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go 2 to 1. And we go grab our reducer. Excellent. Well, let's stir that up and load the gun. All right, what we have here is a speed shape, and what we did is we did our standard KD 3000 gray, and then we have a white KD 3000 02. So what we're going to do is actually show you how well 3 medium wet coats will cover both of these sections. All right, well, let's get to spraying. Wow, take a look at that Orion SilverMax. I mean, you can't even tell the difference between the gray section and the white section. You could tell off of the first coat that it was actually showing that mica just standing up, which is that puck. It just looks unbelievable. So I'm excited to mix up the Orion SilverMax with some of this KK concentrate and see what we can do with that. All right, so we've already done our standard silver. So let's go ahead and mix up the SilverMax with our KK concentrate. We're going to add a little love to the situation. So with the standard Orion silver, you're used to adding a little bit of the KK to it, and sometimes what happens is that metallic actually floats to the back and more of that KK concentrate takes over, so you don't get that bling factor when you're actually spraying down your candies. So what we're going to do with the Orion SilverMax is you got that puck, and remember, that puck actually floats to the top, so you keep the bling. So let's mix it up. So we're going to go ahead and go 2 to 10 parts of our Orion SilverMax. To 1 part of our KK, and in this choice we actually took KK11, which is apple red, one of my favorites. All right, let's go ahead and reduce that, and again, you want to use that slower reducer because this stuff will start to float around and you want to keep it on your substrate. All right, let's load the gun and go. All right, so we got our substrate ready. Again, we have a standard KD 3000 gray primer sealer on it. So the key to this is we're tinting this Orion SilverMax for one reason and one reason only, because we're going to do some candy over it. And the best thing for candy is already having a substrate color that's close to the candy doing, saving you time and money. So let's get started. Wow, take a look at that. Now, if you notice, I could have probably stopped at 2 coats. I mean, this thing had coverage immediately. But again, 3rd coat actually made everything really even out a bit. So I'm telling you what, by the time we put our candy on there, we're not going to fight that candy at all. It's going to really take away the blotchiness and the striping. This candy is going to be such an easy job. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if it's something this size or something larger. You're going to have the same effect. All right, now we're going to do one of my favorite things, and that's taking our S2 carrier bases with the Orion SilverMax and mixing them up 1-to-1. Again, an actual S2 carrier is just a clean tone of our old BC line. In fact, they're actually the same name and numbers, but they are just a clean tone. There is no silver metalloom effect into it. So let's do that right now. So I'm taking just 1 part of the Orion SilverMax, and now I'm just going to take 1 part of Solar Gold. And again, Solar Gold, like Zenith Gold, are one of those problematic ones where you got to put a few extra coats on. Well, guess what? This eliminates that. All right, there we go. And now we're just going to simply reduce that 2-to-1. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. And again, with that puck, it looks dynamic. Wait till you guys see this on the speed shape. Let's spray. All right, so now we're going to take our Orion Silver and our carrier base mix 1-to-1 and spray that on this speed shape. And I'm going to tell you, the coverage on that is going to be immediate. Now remember, you're not just stuck to just certain colors. You can use this with any of the carrier bases. So let's spray it up. All right, so as you can see here, we used our Orion SilverMax 1 part and our Solar Gold S2 carrier 1 part, and look at how quick we got coverage. I mean, this thing is instantly covered. Second coat, it looked done. The third coat was just to put another coat on there. So I'll tell you what, if you want to just put a candy over this, you can do it. Now, if you're trying to mix and match our old BC line, you definitely want to go to our website and go under Classic Colors and use that mixing formula. But again, use this as your ground coat. You can see how quick this covered. So your standard old school mix is going to cover immediately. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use that Solar Gold base, and we're going to actually mix up one of our standard base coats out of our S2 line, and we're just going to take our Solar Gold 3 parts and an actual Metajol, because we love bling. We're going to put 1 part in there. We're going to reduce that 2-to-1. 2 parts our mix of 3 parts the Solar Gold to 1 part that effect. Reduce that. We're ready to go. So let's do that right now. Oh yeah, look at that beauty. All right, now what we're going to do is we're actually going to take the one that we actually put the KK concentrate in. We're going to actually put some candy over that. So what we did is we just made up a standard base coat candy with no effects or anything in it. So we took the S2 SG100 with a little KK concentrate apple red, one of my favorites, and we're going to spray half the side with it so you can actually see the difference between the two. So let's do that right now.
All right, that looks great.
Man, isn't that phenomenal, huh?
I am blown away at how fast this stuff dries, but also the coverage.
And that's the key thing, man, saving you time and saving you money with that coverage. I'm telling you, the base coats or any of the candies are going to go phenomenally fast over this.
Well, there's only one thing left to do now, Mike, right?
That's right, Dave.
Let's get some clear on this thing.
Let's lay some clear down.
Got some USC01. Let's lay a couple of coats down and check these things out in the sun.
Beautiful.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Wow, Mike, seeing really is believing. I'm impressed.
Yeah, what do you think about the Orion SilverMax with a little bit of that KK concentrate in it?
You guys never cease to amaze me. House of Kolor is always coming out with something great, and I love that our viewers get to see it right here on Coast Airbrush TV.
Yeah, but it's nothing like in person, so you out there, mix some of this stuff up.
Absolutely. Mike, thanks for coming by.
You bet, Dave. It's been a pleasure.
I'm Dave Monty for Coast Airbrush TV, and thanks again for watching.